Welcome back to Nightcap Chat, the pop culture podcast. Talk all things comic books, video games, movies, TV shows, and more. Today, we're doing Much Ado About Nothing, Part 2. I'm Blade O'Neill.
I'm Kimber.
I'm Lance O'Neill.
And of course, before we dive into it, I just want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen, like, share, and subscribe to Nightcap Chat. Appreciate all of your support and patronage. And thank you for bearing with us last week as we took a little break. We all had a lot going on, and also we were doing some nice behind the scenes upgrades to the brand, I guess. We got a nice 3D intro, as you saw. We got the logo done in 3D, and if all goes well in the next few hours, tonight and the tomorrow morning, you should see an upgraded album art as you're listening to this episode. So I hope you guys all like it, because I like it.
We are almost to the 22nd century of technology here.
Yeah, no kidding.
I love the intro, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Those good folks over at Woodshack Creative, they have this awesome producer. His name is Blade O'Neill.
Outstanding.
I didn't do it. I didn't make it. I just asked for it and paid for it. But it was Eric Lassen who worked on that for me. So Eric, thanks. Appreciate your help, man. So this podcast is about nothing, which is fun, which is great. That was Much Ado About Nothing last time. Steve might join us any second. He's watching the Red Sox game, and Lance and Ken are keeping tabs on this. And
yeah, it's now run around second with one out in the ninth inning. So a base hit
can
win the game. Bottom of the ninth.
Bottom of the ninth. So the bottom of the ninth, the Red Sox game is going on. Steve is probably at the edge of his seat right now, I think. Right.
So I just watched that play. Remember we were talking about the tag up. It was hit to right field, but Kiermaier fielded it. Well, why are you running? First of all, like I already said my spiel, right? 2 outs. You're not doing that. But, dude, Kiermaier, he's the greatest center fielder of like the last decade. Like, he has like the best arm, and like, what are you doing? Like, what a dumb play. Wow. Well, for Steve's sake, I hope they win. Or maybe yesterday they went to 13 innings. Maybe it's another 13-inning game.
Oh my gosh. They don't want to hear from Steve tonight. That's the problem, though.
That is true.
I feel bad, dude. He was on for a little bit, and it was 5-3 in the top of the 8th, and the Rays tied up the game, and then he was out. I go, oh my gosh, dude, I just lost a friend for life. I feel horrible. I didn't want to. I didn't want to jinx the Rays or the Red Sox in any way. And I kind of thought like this was an easy wrap, when it's 5-3 in the 8th. Usually your bullpen kind of closes things out, but this is playoff baseball. Nothing's to be expected in playoff baseball, is it?
Not with their bullpen. Their bullpen sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something really important going on in the world of pop culture that I really want to bring up.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to everybody listening that I did not give this news earlier. I don't know how I missed that this was happening. And when I found out about this, I was freaking out. So I'm going to make it right now. So I need everybody. You guys got to turn on Netflix tonight, because they just released 5 more episodes of The Way of the House Husband. And my gosh, it is incredible. I've been reading the manga series, and so like I know what was coming up, and some of my favorite skits were already in there. And I only watched the first 2 episodes of the next 5 that they just dropped, and it's just the same old, just Way of the House Husband goodness. My gosh. So incredible.
You haven't watched any of the Squid Game yet, but You've already caught up on all the new episodes of House of the...
No, I got 3 more to go. I only watched 2 of them tonight because I've had a crazy weekend. But yeah, I mean, this is like my favorite thing right now.
Yeah, it's like that. It is pretty hilarious. I mean, did they bring back the cat?
Yep. The cat is back.
Of the stray cat.
His
I
walk
think I'd be more into the cat than anything.
His walk part 3 is in there.
Nice.
I might just watch that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. It's good. I'm.
Is his buddy back learning more how to be a house husband himself?
Yep. He got a new tracksuit. It was really nice. And one of them.
Brand new track.
In play, no outs. What happens?
What is the score?
It's 5-5 in the bottom of the ninth. Is it just first and third now?
Yeah,
what
first
happened?
and third with one out. Steve's gonna love this, dude. I'm not gonna jinx it though. I'm saying, you know what? I'm not talking about it.
Next guy, first and third guy hits into a double play, ends the inning. And doesn't score.
I can't jinx it. Steve, listen to. Man.
So to be clear, if the Red Sox score right now, they win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Game's over.
And we get Steve.
And we get Steve. So that's why we're closely monitoring the Red Sox game.
Yeah, we're more monitoring this for Steve to come back than anything else. Like, you know.
Yes. Just to frame everything up, it's the Red Sox are ahead of the Tampa Bay Rays in a best-of-5 series, 2-1. So if the Boston Red Sox win this game, the Tampa Bay Rays go home and watch the rest of the playoffs from their couches.
Oh.
And Steve is a very happy Boston Red Sox loyalist who doesn't matter how many Red Sox World Series are won, it's still not enough. If I'm framing that correctly.
Yeah, I think so. I believe that's a fair assessment of any sports fan. You know,
and being a diehard sports fan, dude, it's hard to not, be on the edge of your seat for action like this. I mean, I can kind of relate. The Cardinals didn't have their best game yesterday, but they still did win against the San Francisco 49ers, 17-10, and are the only undefeated team left in the NFL is our Arizona Cardinals.
Wait, before we go any further, without the express written consent to Major League Baseball, blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Hey, I believe this is this is like talk show news, so there's some kind of, what is that, Ken? Is that like fair use or
something? I mean, it's not live, right? So I mean,
it's not live.
So I don't think it matters.
Yeah, like we're not broadcasting this and selling advertising for our broadcasting of the Red Sox Rays in the ninth inning here with one out. That's and true. 2 men on.
And we to be clear,
Kiki Hernandez up to bat.
There is
Kiki is so clutch.
There is advertising for sale.
He had a single in the 7th inning. It's showing here. His postseason average is .435 with 10 for 23.
Man, you guys should start a sports podcast.
I know.
Nightcap Chat Sports
on the TV screen.
And on top of it, you got to pitch to him because Devers is up next, and he's 3 for 4 with a homer already today, and he's insane.
Nice. So we could have like a walk-off grand slam to win this game here.
ESPN bumpers were part of the inspiration for the new Nightcap Chat animation. That metallic
ESPN,
or just any like Major League Sports, like whatever.
Ooh.
Like
I would take, I can kind of see that. I would say Major League Baseball probably more, but
yes,
I see that.
Well,
I can't stand ESPN anymore, so sorry. Anyone out there working on ESPN, but
the NFL Network.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sorry. I have no apologies on that. Actually,
take it back.
I take it back what I just said. Yeah.
Be offended.
Well, Travis Shaw just stole second, so that means no double play.
Okay.
Can't hit into a double play unless you're getting thrown out. Fly ball and you get thrown out at home or something.
This looks like it's going to lead to a Red Sox victory here unless something catastrophic happens.
In play, run scored. Game over.
So where's Steve?
Game over.
Oh.
What happens? What happens?
Tag up. You got it. Let's go score. And they won. There we go. Okay. Red Sox move on. Steve, where are you, man?
Text him. We're waiting for him.
Steve, let's go. Let's get on here.
Go Red Sox. Right. Let's go, Steve.
We are waiting for you, Steve. This is a part of the episode now. Okay. That should coerce him into coming here.
Sox win. And the Red Sox are moving on to
imagine there's like a delay on his TV or something, whatever he's watching, and then he's like, what are they talking about? And then like we ruined it.
Oh, spoiler alert. Because he steals his internet from McDonald's.
Oh my gosh. So I ended up complaining on Twitter. So here we go. so I watch the Mets games, right? I buy the major league thing. I pay my 20 whatever dollars a month to watch baseball, every game on my mobile device or on my TV, whatever, right? And I would always watch it on my phone because half the time I'm not home because I'm at work or whatever, or it's like on my break or whatever, or I'm out. And the notifications for the MLB app is faster than what is happening live on TV because there's like a slight delay. And I don't know how many times I'm watching and it's like Pete Alonso hits a homer and I'm like, great. Like I'm happy he hits a homer in like 5 seconds, but you're like ruining watching the moment. And then I'm like, he hits it. I'm like, yeah, it's a homer. I know. But it's just like, what can't you guys, like, I even complained to them when they're posting, like, can you guys please just like take like, wait 5 seconds so you're not ruining my enjoyment of like trying to watch these games. And then people are like, well, why don't you get off your phone? People on Twitter and just watch the game. Like, I'm watching the game on my phone, you moron. Oh my gosh, I was going to lose my mind on everyone. But people, like, do we have to have an update like that quickly? Give it 7 seconds.
Twitter is a cesspool of
just negativity
and just pitchforks and torches. It's unbelievable. I stopped using Twitter. That's why I don't even promote Nightcap Chat Twitter, because it is just garbage.
I hate Twitter. I can't. I only use it for like Major League Baseball, like trade rumors and stuff. And I don't know how many times I accidentally look at like comments and I'm just like, I just want to yeet everyone off a cliff. Oh my gosh.
I ignore comments. I can't read any comments on anything anymore. It's just, I just read what the post is. If I'm interested, okay, cool. If not, I don't care.
It's just people say the dumbest, like, it's like, why are you having a thought process and why are people liking this? You know what I mean? Like half the time, what is this? Like, how is this a thought process really and why are people agreeing with this? How is this possible? Oh my gosh. And it's all like half the time it's people that are like verified on Twitter. I'm like, oh my goodness. Just shows you Twitter useless. Hear that, Twitter? I'm gonna make your stocks plummet right now just by saying this, because people care that much about.
That was Lance's crystal ball.
Don't invest in Twitter. That's my crystal ball.
According to Saturday Night Live, the only thing that keeps Twitter going is Kim Kardashian.
Oh yeah.
Probably your following because they're so negative.
Oh shoot, am I going to get sued by the Kardashians by bringing up a Kardashian? That was a positive I said, right? The only thing that keeps Twitter going? That's a positive,
Nightcap
right?
Chat got sued by the Kardashians,
that'd be the best thing that happened to Nightcap
better
Chat,
than we are right now.
We're going to be on like an episode of the Kardashians. Yeah, sue that podcast for saying that I keep Twitter going.
Go from thousands of hits to millions
of hits overnight. Or maybe Kanye is going to come because I did a bad impersonation of his wife there too as well.
Wait, aren't they divorced? Am I wrong? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea.
Yeah, she's divorcing Kanye.
Yeah, if anything, he'd come onto the podcast. Maybe we can drop some bars together or something, you know? I don't know.
Well, I just want to say, Kanye, if you're listening to this, and I know you're not, you're welcome on Nightcap Chat anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime.
Kanye, you can come on.
Playlist.
This is an open invitation for Kanye West right now.
Yeah,
anytime.
Feel free to hop on.
You're welcome. We can talk about the Kardashians. We can talk about Kim. We can talk about whatever.
We can talk about your new album that just dropped. That's doing great. You know,
whatever.
I'm down.
We can get Kanye's crystal ball going. See if is the new Twins movie gonna bomb? With who was the third person? I forget. Casey Morgan, right? So silly.
Tracy Morgan? You mean?
What'd I say?
You said Casey.
Oh. I think he's an idiot, and I don't care to get his name right. So
I actually kind of like him. No, I didn't like him for a while. Then I saw him in that movie with Bruce Willis.
His voice is just too annoying.
No, I know some people.
It's nothing
some
personal.
People have the voices.
It's nothing personal. It's just his voice is. So
I liked
annoying.
him. I didn't really like him, and then I saw him in that Bruce Willis movie, and I can't remember what the name of that movie was, but it was so funny. Oh my gosh.
I saw clips.
Does anyone know the name of that movie?
I saw a clip from
the one where he's in the car and he's going, no, I know it's like a GIF now. Like he's going, no.
And he's
no.
Isn't there a scene where like he pulls up on like a little kid and like the little kid's like cursing at him and stuff?
I think so.
Anyway, I haven't seen the movie. I only saw that part of it. That scene looked pretty funny.
That movie was pretty funny. I had some good moments. It wasn't like the greatest, but like it had so many like good moments that I was like, yeah.
I feel like they've done so many movies like that though.
Yeah.
You know, like the Hitman's
But Bruce
Bodyguard.
Willis is also always fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes.
he can be.
You know, they're doing a new Die Hard this year.
There's not.
For
I don't
Christmas.
know.
What did you say,
Is
Ken?
there like a new is there a
Another
new
Die
this
Hard?
Christmas?
I don't think so.
Maybe they're just like starting to play all of them on cable things I'm seeing on YouTube TV of like Christmas movies already starting to start up again.
Oh,
'Cause I saw something about like that. Maybe it was the movies that made us. Have you ever seen that on Netflix?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, Die Hard was one of the movies that they talked about, and I think it was they referred to a bunch of Christmas movies during that. And Die Hard, they're saying is like one of the best Christmas movies of all time.
I'd say it's up there. I can definitely agree with that. I mean, there's Elf now. You know,
Elf is the greatest
definitely,
Christmas movie.
Elf's
The greatest
up there,
Christmas
too.
movie, yeah.
Well, they have a
Yes.
making of that. What's the show? The movies that made us. They have an Elf episode.
Oh, the
that's
man
cool.
of the hour. There he is.
Steve, you pulled through, man. I
Steve.
told you. We just
We
gotta
promised
believe with
it.
the drama.
We promised it, and he
You
came
guys-
through.
Oh my god!
I promised you
This is-
they'd win, man.
Yeah, you.
I couldn't let
promised
you
that
down
win, and
now.
then me jumping on ruined the biggest lead that we've had in this series, and what a choke! This is a mess. You should have seen
Red
the
Sox don't
series
choke, man.
going
They got
on
all the
over
luck
here.
in the world.
Oh, what a joke! Oh man. Well, I don't know what I missed, but here I go. Blade's checking my levels.
Yeah, we've been
Sorry.
talking about what you're doing right now as we discussed the Red Sox game.
As we
So
just
that was
talked,
the
we
whole
talked about the
beginning.
game. We were doing a
of the
play-by-play and what Steve's going through.
You have no idea.
No, we did.
Hey,
This is my
just-
nightmare. You know this about me. I just sat there pacing, holding the same bottle because I couldn't put it down. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. The second I jump on the show, we give up 5 runs. This is the worst thing ever.
I want your opinion because I already gave my spiel, and I thought it was completely ridiculous. What is your feelings about Verdugo tagging up on Kevin Kiermaier for the last out of the inning?
Yeah, it's an interesting. This is the worst show on your network. Who cares about baseball talk? I think it's a ballsy move because
That's smart.
he doesn't have wheels. But also, I wasn't really convinced, and the guys on the commentating weren't convinced that he took his hand off either. I like the ballsiness, but also not really. You got to play conservative.
There's 2
at that
outs.
point. You got to play conservative.
You're scoring on a base hit either way from second or third. There's 2 outs. You're going on contact. So what's the
don't give it
point?
up.
And
Yeah,
it's
that's
Kevin
what I'm saying.
Kiermaier.
Yeah.
He's like
But
one of the
then-
best center fielders last 10 years. Like, what are we?
But they're saying that the ball was actually going to what's his name, and then he moved back so that Kiermaier could
Because
take
Kiermaier
it. So-
always says, if I can get to it, it's my
See,
ball.
I can
Because
do it, yeah.
he's Kiermaier, which I don't necessarily agree with, but still, you're not running on him.
So I'm a major superstitious guy. I've been drinking the exact same beer every single day since 2004's World Series when they play. So if I mess up any of my rotation, it throws off the whole groove. And then if we lose a game, I have to change it because we're a very superstitious house. So actually, it's probably just me, but that was a joke just now, Ken. The stress level was insane. So Lance, what you missed on there was that Ken had like a 1 minute. I had a 1 minute delay because I'm watching on Sling, so it's slightly delayed. So Ken would sit there like, "Oh, you're good, you're good," and then he just goes, "Okay, so I mean, they got 1," and I'm like, "What? They got 1?" And then he'd be like, it's okay, you'll come back. You're still got a 1-run lead." And then a second later, he goes, "Okay, so a tie isn't bad." I'm like, "I'm up. I'm done. What am I doing? This is the biggest mistake I've made in
Oh my
Red
gosh.
Sox history."
How I predicted it, guys. Guys, did I not call this? Steve, you have to go back and listen to this episode because, like, literally what you just said is what we just talked about. We started texting you when we saw the walk off, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, what if there's?" I was like, "What if there's a delay at Steve's house?
There
We
is.
should be texting him."
Like,
It was a
hey, they
nightmare.
won.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Sox win. It's like, what are you talking about? I still got a minute to go.
You know what? This is a rough
Oh
night.
my God.
Sorry, Blade, to throw a wrench. I'm pumped to be here, but good God, that sucks to watch
No.
I
that.
love the picture you sent us of the
The Rays.
Rays. I
Yeah.
seriously, for a second, thought you had tomorrow's paper ready.
Tomorrow's paper.
What is this?
Yeah, I've had that since
That's one of
08,
those fan
opening
signs
day.
that's in the crowd.
Yeah, that's what they give you outside of the stadium. Before the opening game 2008, because I was there, and I've had it framed on my wall ever since. So I brought it down for that picture because politely the Rays. Blade marked down that time. They absolutely are the biggest bunch of douchebags ever. Keep on marking down this time, and it's horrible. So I'm just glad it's over. If we lose to the next team, whatever, I don't care. I'm pumped that we beat the Rays, the unbeatable American League team. Later. Oh, it feels good. And also, Ken, you made it so much scarier. Ken is such like a sweet guy. He's like, no, dude, you're good. You'll come back. You'll come back. I'm like, that's not how the Red Sox work. They make you stress and cry and scrape after every little thing. And he's like, no, you're good, buddy. You're fine.
Well, it is October, so I got to make things scary, right?
You did. You made it very scary. Nicely done. And also, I was super afraid to touch my phone. So I looked at my phone and there were 30 texts in the group. I'm like, okay, cool.
Everything is fine. Don't worry.
It is right now.
This episode is about nothing. This is Much Ado About Nothing Part 2. So don't worry.
Whew. Cool. So, have we gotten to you guys hating on Will Poulter yet or not quite?
Oh, Adam.
Oh, no.
Is that his name? The turtle that they cast as Adam Warlock?
Yes. Am I getting this correct?
Franklin the Turtle? They cast Franklin the Turtle.
He looks like Franklin the Turtle.
Well, I'll tell you, I like him as an actor. I think he's a fantastic actor. But you're right. That's the first thing Sarah said, because she's the one that broke the news to me because I was laser focused on the Red Sox game. I hadn't looked at my phone to see what's going on. And she goes, oh my God, they just cast Warlock. I'm like, who? And she goes, oh, it's your boy. And I'm like, okay. And she goes, he doesn't look like the character. I'm like, he does not. He does not look the role. But as Ken said, everyone was against Star-Lord because he was chubby guy from House Rat.
That's not a comparison.
It is literally apples to apples. Everyone said he didn't look like the character. Blade, even you said you didn't like what's his name, Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine, and then you very politely were like, I was wrong. So looks don't mean everything, but I do have to say Lance's text had me in tears when he goes, I hope he's CGI. That was so funny.
It's like,
but so mean.
This guy's supposed to be like perfect. Like he's supposed to be like, oh, he's handsome and perfect. Like
the epitome of man.
I'm sorry, but he's not the epitome of man or anything like that.
He's barely the epitome of squirrels.
Or somebody like that. Oh my God.
No, and by the way, that is verbatim what Sarah said. She's like, isn't he supposed to be like the perfect person? And I'm like, I guess so. Yeah, that's what I know, but he doesn't look like it. But either way, I like him as an actor. And I don't, so far, you can't really question anything that he's done with casting. James Gunn is batting 1,000.
I think that's why it's so disappointing.
Yeah.
It's because there's no way, like it doesn't matter how good he does. Like he does not look like the looks on Adam Warlock is very important. Like this should have been like chiseled Brad Pitt as a statue, you know.
It's like if Lord of the Rings did Galadriel and they got like
oh gosh, that horse.
Yeah, that's what I was
Sarah
trying to
Jessica
come up
Parker.
With. Sarah Jessica Parker
could
to
you
play
imagine having
Galadriel or
a horse
something.
play
Like, oh my gosh.
Galadriel?
Oh, I love that you called her
that would be terrible.
Or what's
Ken is like, I can't believe how hateful this is.
What's the Karate
you
Kid?
You have to admit, she does resemble a horse. She does.
She's
we're not the first
horse.
people that have said that.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Hilary Swank. My gosh.
Okay, you know what though? This is where I get into the weeds with you guys, is because as a movie fan, I can kind of see past their looks because their acting is awesome. So they can take on some subtle nuances, but you have to give some of that. But I mean, again, who is James Gunn miscast yet?
I mean, seriously, like, I do got to agree with Steve on this one because James Gunn made me care about Polka Dot Man's mom.
Exactly.
And that's like the worst idea I've ever seen in any movie, but it worked. You know what I mean? It's like, this could be really dumb, but it was freaking hilarious. And it was something that James Gunn's just got like that little magic touch. He might have sold his soul to, you know, the Hollywood demons or something to make everything he does workable. But, you know, if everything else he's done's made workable, maybe this ugly warlock is going to be a beautiful warlock before we're done.
I'm sure they have good CGI now, so I think it could get worked out. You know? So
they'll just CGI like Tom Cruise's face on him or something like that.
Oh.
I mean, they did for Star Wars already. I mean, Carrie Fisher's dead, but she's still popping up looking like she's 26 inside Star Wars movies.
That's true. I mean, the difference between like Star-Lord, though, is like nobody cares about Star-Lord. Star-Lord could have been literally anybody. Like, it did not matter. Star-Lord nobody cared about Star-Lord until James Gunn. In the comics.
Okay.
There was no Star-Lord fans.
No.
before the first Guardians movie. You know, I think I met more people that liked Rocket Raccoon than I did Star-Lord. You know,
Yeah, remember that guy that we saw in
Chipotle.
in Chipotle? He had the huge Rocket Raccoon tattoo before the movie even came out.
Yeah,
And we asked him, we're like, when we were like, and he was like, we're like, oh, what do you think about the movie? And he was just like, he was so upset. He was like, they're gonna ruin everything. Like, he was so mad that it's like my character is gonna get ruined. And like, I could kind of understand, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, they did a great job. Like, he didn't know how good like it was probably gonna be, but he was like, oh, they're probably gonna ruin it, which I would think too if I was in a Rocket Raccoon. Like, that's such an obscure thing.
well, they ruined Deadpool. You know, I like Deadpool before he was in a movie. I'm not.
They ruined him
about,
in the comics.
I'm not talking about Ryan Reynolds. I'm talking about like the first. Well, yes, I am talking about Ryan Reynolds. I'm talking about X-Men Origins Wolverine. Like they did. They ruined
It's hard.
Deadpool.
Yeah,
Well,
It's hard to get your-
because the writers, you don't sew up Deadpool's mouth. He's the mark with the mouth,
Oh,
not
yeah.
the mark with
Yeah.
the sewed up mouth.
That was beyond dumb.
Yeah,
We watched that was on TV by the weekend, and Sarah was like, "Oh God, I forgot how awful this writing was on this one."
No kidding.
So that was just on TV, and I was like, "Wow, it's the first time I watched it in a while." And you are right. We've talked about this before, though. Guardians, when it came out, was this weirdo group of stuff that of characters that no one in the mainstream really cared about. So you could be organic and do bizarro things. Perfect again for James Gunn. Why he's doing the same thing with Suicide Squad, making weird characters that people don't care about. But you're not wrong. Warlock is definitely a more mainstream character, and he is, by definition, he fits a physical attribute that Will Poulter does not meet. But also, I think that Will Poulter is a wildly talented actor, and maybe James Gunn has something else in mind for him. I don't know.
Maybe
After seeing all of them, I don't doubt James Gunn, but I see your point. I mean, that's the very first thing that Sarah was like, "Wow, that's a weird casting," because he doesn't look like the perfect being at all. So
maybe
I know
he's
that
like
sounds like
just the
anything.
voice. You know, like
Maybe
James
they're
Earl
paying
Jones,
for his
you know?
plastic surgery. Like that's probably what it is.
Or maybe Hulk punches him in the face, like Adam Warlock in the
Shut
face,
up.
and then like they're like,
Please.
oh,
Save money on CGI. Oh, what a plot twist! I think you just
See, now wait.
spoiled the movie.
You just did something interesting, Lance, and then you followed it up with being absolutely mean about the Hulk punch thing. But would they do? They wouldn't do just a CGI character of him, right? I mean,
No, because we already saw.
There's no way.
What's her name? What's her name? Ayla or Aisha or
Aisha.
Aisha? Is that what it
Yeah.
was? In Guardians 2?
Yeah, in Guardians,
They're
2?
all painted gold.
What's her name?
They
Yeah,
can't
they're
just
painted gold.
they're just and by the way, like I feel like they look like they're painted gold. I wish they I don't
look
know.
more organic
Yeah,
than just painted gold.
they look like they're
yeah, I
painted
got what you're
gold.
saying.
It's fine.
I could see that.
It's fine. But you know, as far as physicality goes, look at Drax. Like they got his physicality and the way they did his personality, you know, like his funny moments, I feel like was a brilliant interpretation of kind of taking how Drax used to be in the comics, like during the Infinity Gauntlet era, where he was just kind of dumb and like, ugh. And also, you know, he had more of a brain. But you guys see what I'm saying? So like they made it so like he wasn't taking like their idioms, you know, like he wasn't understanding that they were making a metaphor and idioms. Like, no, nothing would go over my head. My reflexes are too fast. Like catch it.
Catch it.
You know, like it was a brilliant interpretation of doing like both, like just the dumb brute Drax and Drax with a little more, you know, oomph. You know, but Dave Bautista has the physicality. Like Drax needs to be a big boy, right? Gamora looked great. She was green. You know, what's her face pulls off being green or blue, I guess, right?
Yeah, she's great. She's great being green or blue. I don't know why she's like getting typecast as like aliens. I don't know why. It's kind of crazy.
Star-Lord hardly matters, really.
Yeah, he just has to be like a dude.
But I got to give Chris Pratt credit. You know, he lost all that weight because he was just a little slob before, and I freaking hated him in whatever that show, Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
You didn't like Parks and Rec?
I hated him in Parks and Rec. He was a
hated
garbage
him
character.
in Parks and Rec because he was going out with Aubrey Plaza, who he said was not fair because Aubrey Plaza would never go out with him, which I deeply sympathize with your opinion because Aubrey Plaza is on my top 15. I think she's absolutely fantastic, but he did absolutely save that show for me. I found that show to be borderline unwatchable towards the end, and he was my saving grace. I thought he was the best part of it, so I could see it. You know what makes me crazy though, and James Gunn is really good about talking about this, and I didn't know this until this summer, and Sarah blew my mind. So he answers a lot of questions on Twitter, and one of the people asked him, who did you turn down the roles for? I'm desperate to know who came number 2 and number 3 in some of your roles. And he goes, I never discuss who we don't select. He goes, I will tell you, though, that the number 2 for Star-Lord has been very publicly announced by the actor that we said no to, sadly, and I hope he's still my friend, and it was Glenn Howerton, which is Dennis from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So now I watch Always Sunny sort of looking at, okay, what would he have been like, 7 years ago as Star-Lord, and the humor is there, but the physicality I don't think quite made it. But I think that he made a wildly good choice, but you could see that his mind was in a comedic, quick timing, and they both have that going for them. But I think he could see that one of them had a more physical approach and he could reach that potential a little bit more than Glenn could. And I'm a huge Glenn Howerton fan. Obviously, I watch Always Sunny literally like how you guys fall asleep watching Twitch. That's how I operate all day, as I watch Always Sunny in the background. But I'm a huge fan. But I thought that was interesting. He doesn't say no. He doesn't talk about the people that didn't make it. But this one he felt okay because Glenn Howerton had talked about it before. And I just thought that was an interesting miscast, because I think they made the right choice. I love Glenn. He just wouldn't have been a good Star-Lord. So even though you're saying he's just a dude, there has to be something more to it. And I also think the same thing with Bradley Cooper as Rocket. He just nailed it.
Well, it's what James Gunn was going for in Star-Lord, because nobody cares about Star-Lord. I mean, what was Star-Lord's personality in the comics before Guardians came out? Like, I'm Star-Lord.
Yeah.
Like,
he was
he had, I would argue that James Gunn had kind of a blank slate. So it's what he was making of the character, which is fine. I mean, you're talking like a C-list character before this movie. Like, nobody knew who Star-Lord was. Nobody cared who Star-Lord was. Star-Lord, to me, wasn't funny or anything. But what they did was great. And
I think that what he did put Star-Lord in the top, I would say top 5 Marvel characters. The top 5 Marvel male characters. I mean, he's iconic. His mask is huge. People still dress up as him. When you go to the Disney parks, there's always kids wearing Star-Lord shirts. I think that his weirdo casting put, a C-list person to A-list. I mean, he's not Cap, Iron Man, or Black Panther, but when you see other kids playing around with stuff and wearing stuff, it's Star-Lord all over the place.
I think like Star-Lord's character is the perfect blend of Indiana Jones and Han Solo.
That's well said.
Both to like kids and adults alike. I mean, he's got a cool ass mask. Excuse my French. A cool donkey face mask. But
I do love it.
As a character, he appeals to both parents and the kids. Yeah. And so I think that's like an easy transition for Star-Lord to appeal to such a large audience. And I don't know, like, can Adam Warlock appeal to a large audience like that?
Not looking
really
like that.
Character written well to make it go over.
Wait, what did I just miss? Lance is laughing really hard. What did you say, Blade?
I said not looking like that.
Oh my God, now we're back to
and Star-Lord's that character too, like that. He sounds weird saying this, but he looks good with or without a mask on.
Is Warlock going to be a character throughout the MCU now, or is he more of a... What do you guys know about the length of his? Because I know a Cliff Notes version of his longevity, but I don't really get how it's going to fit in.
What's the MCU?
He better fit in for the next 3 phases or something.
Right? Because he's a big deal.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I don't know. I don't. Did you see the new Eternals trailer?
Yeah.
I've lost interest in that movie.
I'll take the opposite side. I'm more involved now, except for the fact that this is again, I'm just a movie guy, so don't get mad at me for this.
No,
I don't like how they all look very similar now to Superman. They're flying around and blasting lasers from their eyes or whatever we're calling them and fighting these monsters. They just look like Superman characters, and that kind of is a turnoff. But I think that the movie itself has legs, and I'm actually interested in this. And Ken, we talked about how I'm open to seeing Shang-Chi. I just didn't really want to because the trailers look bad, and it's still the only Marvel MCU film I have not seen.
me too.
But this one I will go see, and it has. I never saw Nomadland, which the lady directed last, which won an Oscar, but and she won too. I just it looks more appealing to me than Shang-Chi. Yet still, I'm waiting for something interesting, and I don't think it's there.
I would agree that it looks more appealing than that, but I don't know, like they gave away like some of like, oh, like here's the bad guys. I'm just like I just severely don't care. I literally felt like I was watching a trailer for a DC movie. Like that's honestly how I felt after I was watching it. I was like, this just doesn't look like it for me. I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm probably gonna see it, but it just there's something like not right about it.
And you can tell that Sorry,
My
Ken.
first impression when I saw the trailer was I thought it was like a high-end version of Jupiter's Legacy that was on Netflix a couple months ago.
And they canceled that.
Yeah, I said too. That was unfortunately a major disappointment. Jupiter's Legacy, because they didn't put the dollars into making a good production. But with Eternals, they're putting tons of money into making this work. So whether or not it's going to be a bust, I don't know. I mean, I'm still waiting for that first bust. I mean, I don't consider the Spider-Man movies or the Venom movies part of the MCU in such a major way, because I went to see Venom versus Carnage this past week, and that thing was a train wreck. I hate saying it.
No, because this is
I like Venom and I like Carnage, but I really thought like they rushed that movie just to get to that extra credit scene after the credits to bring Venom into the MCU.
See, I had no interest in seeing that at all. I thought the trailers made it look really dumb, and I saw the first Venom, and I thought it was just disposable. I'm like, cool. An hour and 48 minutes of my day went by, and it was okay with me, right? I didn't really have anything invested. I thought Tom Hardy was fine, whatever. But this one, I kept on hearing that it's bizarre, and you may love it, and it may just not be your brand, right? So if you're saying it's not for you, I know for a fact it's not going to be for me. There's just no way then, because I was hoping
so much for it. That's the problem too, because I'm a big Woody Harrelson fan.
Me too.
And he did a good job. Tom Hardy, I have no problem with Tom Hardy, but these scripts are just, as said too, is I felt like I was watching an X-Men movie again, where it doesn't matter what we're doing during the movie. We're just trying to get to the next movie. And I go, don't write movies that way. I mean, this is Carnage. This is Venom. These are the two rivals. It doesn't have to be all quippy. You're not Guardians of the Galaxy because you're only one guy with a symbiote attached to him. And as I said too, I'm probably super biased because I like symbiotes, and that's what got me into comics in the first place was the symbiote Spider-Man. But I even tolerated the fact it had nothing to do with Peter Parker to get him to Venom. But just the script is too, I don't know, dude, too 1980 sitcom. Type of humor to it. And
that's what I
kept
on reading.
1980 sitcom Venom. I want 21st century like Venom. I don't mind the comedy, but just don't try to make that move your movie. Use the character for what it is and not just try to do every single comedic trope that was from the 1980s that you can think of. And it's just, I don't know. As I said too, is like I was a little bit disappointed because I really do like these characters, and it just felt like they're giving it the Fox treatment of Venom and Carnage. Even though it's Sony, but you know what I mean, right? When we talked about the faux X-Men in the past, it was like faux Venom and faux Carnage, and just kind of.
And you think that with like so much good like Marvel comic content for Venom recently, that they would be able to like put out a good product? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of newer stuff. It's not even talking about like the original stuff that was great. I'm talking about like, because usually the newer stuff has a lot to do with the comics. Like you see that this is kind of the way they're steering it towards the fans. Like, hey, get used to this. And all the new stuff for Venom's like great. It's amazing. But then you're going to put out this bad product. Like it's almost just like Marvel was like, here you go. Like the comics was like, yeah, here you go. Sony. And they were just like, oh, sorry. And Sony just dropped the ball on Marvel. You know what I mean?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Bird seeds of some of the Donny Cates stuff. Very, very, very tiny. But just as I said too, I don't need the rom-com aspect of the symbiote relationship with Eddie Brock. Do you know what I mean? It's not Odd Couple. It's not like honeymooners. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you don't need to add that element to Venom because it just gets too annoying to the fact of like how cool Venom is. Do you know what I mean? And it's maybe it's because he's too scary for kids and they want kids to still feel appealed to it, but then that's not
Kids
it
would
either
still
because
love it.
Carnage was ripping everything up in front of him and it was, do you know what I mean? It wasn't supposed to be child friendly, yet they were trying to, I think, more or less dumb down about how violent Carnage actually was by integrating the extra comedy into lighten the mood of all the darkness that Carnage was supposed to be. But
That'd be ridiculous because I see
Yeah.
kids going to see Deadpool and no kid should be watching that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little
that
kids
was-
going to
Well,
Logan and laughing when
well-
Logan's stabbing claws through someone's head. Like these movies are rated R. Like Sony shouldn't worry about like a Venom movie that should be rated R or too gory. And like there's stuff on YouTube that kids shouldn't be watching. They watch, like, it's just like, I think we should be past that. Like if you don't worry about that, like that's a parent's decision whether to have your kid watch that movie or not.
So now, correct me if I'm right.
PG-13 too, but it was still
In
just,
my opinion, Lance, those two are apples and oranges. Deadpool and Logan. Logan was rated R because of intense darkness and violence and story. Deadpool is rated R because of goofy violence and way over the top jokes and dick jokes, right? So
And nudity.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I don't even remember there being that obligatory in those films. But I mean, I just see those as different. I can see where the MPAA comes with their rating structure on this. But back to the main point, you're right. I don't know that they could make Venom scary enough in the first. People love him anyway. He's iconic. Little kids love him. He's a freaking Disney Infinity figure. You know what I mean? Like he's a Disney Infinity figure. That if that's the case, then that means that the character appeals to all of them. You know, in general. I knew who he was, and I don't read the comics because he's awesome looking.
Venom appealed to me
He's
as a
iconic.
kid. I mean, like these movie companies and directors, writers, creators, whatever, they do things like, you know, oh, we need stupid jokes, or oh, let me put Jar Jar Binks, you know, in The Phantom Menace for the kids. Who did the kids like? The kids liked Darth Maul.
Yep.
The kids didn't like Jar Jar Binks. They liked Darth Maul and Obi-Wan. The kids would not have a problem with Venom.
Yeah, that's my thing. That like they churned Venom into a trope rather than into being bonded with Eddie permanently. I mean, I don't know. I don't want spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen Venom versus Carnage, but one thing that annoyed me the most is like when they got into their tiff, the suit separated himself from Eddie on his own and then just went out and partied all night with whoever he could jump on. And he couldn't make his perfect bond was the mission of the whole story side of that. Is the perfect bond was Eddie, whether he liked it or not. But just seeing him go to the club and get on the mic, and it was just kind of like,
oh, that
it's
sounds
so
nauseating.
pointless.
I'm like cringing just listening to you say
Yeah.
this.
And I go, why did you just like waste
real.
30 minutes of my time trying to prove that Eddie needs to be bonded with Venom because that's a natural fit? You know what I mean, you don't need to tell me that. I get it. I know it. That's the fans know it. It's like trying to say like that. Oh, let's show everything Spider-Man can do for 37 minutes just to show you, so you the fans know how important it is that Spider was radioactive when it bit Peter.
So
You
it's
know
something
what I
that
mean? It's
something that
just
something Lance said
dumb. I hate saying
earlier.
it. Just was trying to be fun, but it totally missed the mark. It was like Hawkeye blindfolded shooting off to the left corner. And do you know what I mean? And the target's right in front of him, and you know Hawkeye should hit that right. But it's just, we just want to write it that he's going to hit in the left corner blindfolded because this is what we think we need to do with this character. And it was just so off the mark for Venom. But
I'm glad I
all right.
didn't see it then. You just described the grossest thing I think
Yeah.
I've heard. That seems awful. The look
I
on
don't
everybody's
need to see
faces when
Venom
you said
dropping
that,
a mic
Blade's
and
eyes were
neon
like,
lights
what?
on him, and it was just absurd, dude. He's like,
It's so
at
cringy.
the party, and like they were all like worshiping. He goes, "Hey, I don't need any." And he was like a drunken fool, dude. It was just, I don't know. It was just, I apologize to all you listeners out there that love the movie, but
You can have an opinion.
Yeah, especially since
Carnage.
You're such a big, symbiote Spider-Man and Venom, like your opinion matters more than like 99.99999% of the population. Like you're dedicated to it.
Bad. Do you know what I mean? I really thought Spider-Man 3 was bad. This man, dude, I feel so bad for Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson because they did a good job with what they did, but It was just like, as I said, dude, it was, I don't know. I think it was kind of like the Green Lantern of the Marvel movies so far. It's like, it's not Ryan Reynolds' fault. It's not Tom Hardy's fault. It's not Woody Harrelson's fault. The only thing that was really awesome about that movie was the fact that you saw the Sinestro Corps be formed at the end of the movie in the extra credit scene. Same thing with this. It's like, we just want to get to the end so we can put Venom into the MCU because that's what everybody wants to see. Venom and Spider-Man teamed up. And it's just, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I said too, with such a great material like Carnage, where he defeats Carnage and just takes the suit off him and eats him, eats the suit back and makes it part of himself again. I'm going, what a waste of an hour and 37 minutes of trying to develop a character and then just having it be done at the end, and you're not sure whether you're going to see Carnage ever again or not. Kind of stupid, especially for Woody Harrelson. Such a good actor.
Yeah, he is. He's awesome.
That's it.
I'm glad. I'm not going to go see this movie now. So thank you for saving me $20 and somebody watching my child. So I appreciate that.
Lance, you and I are on the exact same page. I was,
get back on track. You do great stuff with Tom Holland. You do good stuff with Tom Hardy in that first movie. The second movie I was hoping for a lot because it's, once again, Venom versus Carnage. That's your trademark. That's, Ford versus Chevy. But you guys missed the mark altogether. No Mustangs, no Camaros here. Just, piles of trash.
It's a bunch of Pontiacs.
I was just going to say that. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I love this group.
And I have a Pontiac in my garage, so.
Speaking of Tom Hardy, are you guys Bond fans or no?
Yeah, Blade's a huge Bond fan.
It has an interesting ending, and as a Bond fan from very young, I think it's a little uncouth. So his last mission, he's still 007, but that's nothing. And they've already said they're not going to do that. But the ending, I don't want to spoil it for anyone that is going to see it. I'm not positive why they did this. It's odd to me.
It was Daniel Craig still, right?
It's his Daniel Craig.
It's his last one. Okay. He's been great. I'm not going to lie.
He has been great.
He's been awesome.
All right. If Ken doesn't care, I want to hear what this is because I'm not watching this stupid movie.
It's definitely not a stupid movie, by the way. So it's long though. It's 2 hours and 43 minutes, but it doesn't. It does not feel like it though. I'm just being super honest. It does not feel like it. Sarah said the same thing. Sometimes you see these movies that feel longer than they are, or they feel their length. This one did not, so there's something to that. But Ken, what are your thoughts? Do you care about the ending of this? If you're going to go see it, I won't spoil it.
I'm okay with spoilers, dude. I obviously gave the huge spoiler for Venom Carnage there.
I don't actually know if you did. You kind of said you wanted to see him team up, but isn't that what everyone's always wanted?
I kind of want to see this Bond movie, but I'll probably forget. So
yeah, well, it's good. It's pretty. It's shot fantastically. Some of the lighting is unbelievable. It's just great to look at. All of the actors are great. I'll just cut to the part that I have an issue with. And spoiler for anyone that hasn't seen the new James Bond, which is called No Time to Die. Stop listening right now. Skip ahead 2 minutes. Blade, what do you say? I don't know. But
yeah, click that 30-second skip ahead button a couple of times.
The interesting thing about this one is that everyone said before it was a perfect send-off for Daniel Craig, and they kill him.
Wow.
It would be the first Bond movie where Bond actually dies. Now, the way he dies is fantastic. It's pretty. It's well written. It plays off of the movie very well. But the problem is Bond himself lives on in everything, and they will just recast him and then bring on new characters. This is the first time that the character James Bond dies. And I am not a fan of that.
So here... I almost wish I didn't hear this, but now it's too late. Can't undo this. It's fine. No, I know. I just didn't think it was to be something like that crazy. That's crazy. But he retired, right, and then came back. So this is like the end of his career, kind of a thing. Like let's put it this way: there won't be a James Bond movie that takes place after this anyway.
Here's the problem with that. If you look at,
is that all the old James Bonds are
where
old
does
people?
The continuity of this fall? Because the Daniel Craig movies already screwed up the continuity of literally the rest of them.
Sam Mendes tried to fix it, and he even said that when he made Skyfall, he did not like that they made Casino Royale like a prequel Bond, and that's why in Skyfall every loose end was fixed up. M was back to M. You found out who Moneypenny was, and he was like, done. There's no more prequel. He's back to just being Bond, and then this undid that.
So I mean, it was already screwed up. Yeah, it screwed it up 10 times over, especially I don't remember if it was Casino Royale or Quantum of Solace, but first of all, it's Judi Dench as M, who is M in the Pierce Brosnan movies, which was last, right? And she talks about 9/11. Okay. And now these are prequels, right? So that screws up a lot of the continuity. But also, if you look at the end of Skyfall, how they set it up at the end, you know, they have that male, is it Ralph Fiennes playing M?
Ray
Who's
Fiennes,
clearly supposed to be, what's his face, who plays M, like in the Sean Connery movies and stuff. And we set up Moneypenny the same way. We have the same car from like the Dr. No movies. I mean, like the end of Skyfall felt like it led right into Dr. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
So
Skyfall was phenomenal, by the way.
if
just
that leads
as a
into
movie,
Dr.
too.
Dr. No, and Daniel Craig dies, like, what is happening with the James Bond continuity?
It ruins one big thing for me, and this is the thing that I think is a massive turnoff. We've watched every Bond movie, all 21 of them. We own most of them, and we had no problem going from Roger Moore to this next guy and to Timothy, just going. And that was the point. Who's going to be the next Bond? It was always just a continuation of the same characters and all that stuff, which is awesome. Now that ended it, because from now on, it's going to be considered a reboot, and I hate that Bond is going to have a reboot. It makes my skin crawl. My dad is the biggest James Bond fan literally in the world. Like his whole entire youth. You guys are Marvel and comic books. His was James Bond stuff from a very young age. He hasn't seen this yet, and I guarantee you he's going to be bummed out, because it's just weird, because that means that the next one, and we know that Amazon just bought them. So Amazon has the intention of doing a series on TV.
They're gonna ruin
that means that everything is going to be new now. It's going to be a reboot. Is it going to be
It's not going to be a prequel?
Bond? Who knows? We don't know. But the point is now it could literally be anything, because they ended the regular Bond from 21 films has officially ended.
Making it a TV show is a bad idea. I'm just saying that right now. That's not a good idea.
I don't know
agree
if it's
with
a good
that.
idea or a bad idea. You can make a good spy series on there. Jack Ryan is supposed to be really good. I just haven't watched it. Alias was pretty good. But and 24 was 24. Yes. So I think
James
you can
Bond.
do it, but I don't know.
What are you going to do?
I don't know
Each season, you're going to have a new Bond girl?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
Who's the
this
Bond
is
girl
the
this
point.
season?
So
They're going to get
Blanchard-
rid of Bond girls, first of all. Amazon's not going to do that.
Oh,
And they're
of
going
course.
to ruin the whole thing. They're ruining Lord of the Rings. This is a bad.
How about this?
I just think it's
This
odd.
sounds like probably the stupidest idea I've ever come up with, but I'm still going to pitch it anyway. How many women has James Bond been with, right?
all of them.
So he
Yeah,
dies of
basically.
herpes or something?
So who's going to be the James Bond Jr. franchise that's going to kick off? The son of James Bond that is found and is brought into the organization to be the new James Bond.
Yeah. Well, this is the weird thing, is because I know where Blade's mind is at, and it's where mine is at too, and it's where most of the people. Albert Broccoli's daughter, who runs his sort of empire now, has even said the same thing. James Bond can't be a girl or somebody else like this. It has to be James Bond is a person, and this is what he's looked like, and this is his thing. Now, the designation 007 could be what they do. If they make an Amazon series and just call it 007, then it could be literally anybody. But the dangerous part is when you start talking about that, who could it be? Because he's been with freaking everybody. So, I mean, who knows what this character could be? I just found it odd that they literally put an actual end to the longest running character. Now you're going to keep doing it, but I just hate the idea that now it's going to be a reboot.
I wonder if they did it because they're selling the rights to Amazon.
Oh, wow.
And just
And they're
Now,
just
remember,
like,
they sold
you
the
guys are
rights-
going to ruin this. I'm just going to finish it.
You could be-
Douche.
yeah. There's only one problem with the timeline there, is this movie should have been out last year. They just sold Amazon. MGM just sold Amazon this June. Now, of course, there'd probably been word that they've been talking and stuff, but that would have had to have been at least 3 years ago when they were writing this. You know, after they made Spectre, they started writing this and trying to get Daniel Craig to come back for one last one, and he agreed to come on. And so I wanted to say that that's right, Lance, and that I agree with you, but the timeline doesn't work. That means the Amazon purchase would have had to have been 5 years ago, and that seems like a really long time.
Well, they
for
could
the
have been in
purchase
talks,
of
or
MGM.
they could have shot multiple endings. And then they were like,
You could be
"Let's go with
totally,
this
you
one."
could be totally right.
Reshoot-
and this
reshoot
could
to
be
kill
it.
'em.
Reshoots are a big deal, yeah. So, I don't know, but I thought it was odd. It was a really good movie.
That is
It was-
weird. Yeah.
It was pretty and sweet, and everybody was good. And I like this one more than Spectre because James Bond acted more like Bond. He had jokes a lot more. He felt more Roger Moore-ish to me, and I love that. And I like that he wasn't just serious guy Daniel Craig. He had way more shtick, which I thought was absolutely adorable and heartwarming and fun. And the banter between him and his buddies was on par with some of the best Bonds you've seen. And then it just ended like this, and I was like, "That's weird. That
would have ruined.
You know
it
what I
for
mean?
me,
It just
even if I liked it,
it's just weird to me.
Yeah, it definitely
like I would have
leaves
been,
a bad taste in your mouth.
I would have asked for a refund. I would have been furious.
That kind of sucks, but maybe I'll just stop it. What let me know the minute mark and I'll just stop it and we'll watch the end.
It's 2:43 at like 2:38. Lance, just walk out. Yeah. Also, I will say this on one side note. Rami Malek plays the most overhyped bad guy in like any Bond movie. It has almost nothing to do with him. And even at the end, I asked Sarah, I was like, so wait a minute, can you explain why he's got this chip on his shoulder? Every Bond villain has something that, they have to do. It's not always just conquer the world. There's something, right? So they build this whole thing up for the longest time about his like background. And I'm not really positive of what his background was. And I think that was bad writing, but more importantly, I thought that his acting was once again just over the top, just like, okay, whatever. And I'm kind of never been a Rami Malek fan. Sarah is though, and Sarah left going, yeah, I think he kind of tried to be this prolific bad guy like Javier Bardem in Skyfall and just did nothing with it. So that did not help. Yep, I think he's the best Bond villain by not even close. It's him and then some of the other ones. But that's just my opinion. I thought he was great.
Film.
Skyfall's fantastic. I would say it's one of my top 10 most flawlessly made films. Brilliant. So anyway, I just thought it was weird. So
another movie I cried in.
You cried in Skyfall?
Oh yeah.
My gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Judi Dench and like
Judi Dench's ending.
The tears
were
just. I was like, no.
Yep.
Oh, what a great scene.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. With Albert Finney in the background helping her. And her limping through the thing and the lighting of just the fire in the background. And then the last line that they say is, what does he say? To my churning butter. Who's the last one? I love that whole thing is great. And then it's a great movie. I would say that's on my list of flawless movies.
Yeah.
So
he has had some great iconic moments in his James Bond career.
Daniel Craig?
The getting tortured scene has to be one of my favorite.
When he's hitting
one of my favorite moments in like film history is like he's like what like he just starts laughing, and he's like, "What's so funny? They're gonna know you died scratching by." That was like, oh my gosh, what a great line! Like it was just so good. Like, what a great scene! It was just such a good scene.
You're absolutely right. That's another great Bond villain there, and Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, yep. He was great.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen is great in everything, so I'm a huge fan of his. But just thought this was kind of bizarre, and I'm sad to see it kind of end like this.
And since we're on the topic here, because I think I would be remiss to not call myself out in the fairness of the group here, so I'm gonna give you guys this for all the I was talking just now about the frog guy who's playing Adam Warlock. When they cast Daniel Craig, I was like, how did they cast this ugly dude to play good-looking James Bond? Like Daniel Craig is an ugly guy, but I don't know what they did, but like he's I still think he's ugly, but he's like ugly in kind of like a pretty way. And for some reason, my wife thinks he's good looking, and I'm very offended by that.
Such a dork. So I read your text out loud to Sarah, who also laughed, but she also agreed with you. Now I find him to be super charming and handsome. I think
handsome,
really
like a good looking.
Yeah,
dude?
I think he's good looking dude.
Daniel Craig.
If I look like that at that age, I am freaking. Everything in my life is fine. I think he's a handsome guy, but I know what you're talking about. He's definitely no Pierce Brosnan. He's definitely no Roger Moore.
Yeah.
But he plays the role so well that I find it to be more, I don't know, he's just awesome. I'm a huge Daniel Craig fan. I think he's great in almost anything he's ever done. And when it comes to Bond, I think he was a perfect casting, which is why I was having the debate with Sarah in the car afterwards is casting the next James Bond the biggest casting in movie history, right? It's always has been. What other character, when you say they just cast the new one, the only one I can think of is you guys also make fun of it is Batman.
Yeah.
Who's the next Batman? That is literally
And
the
it's
next
usually
one
a
I can
bad
think of.
choice.
Shut up.
Yeah, everyone has been a bad choice except for Michael
This
Keaton.
one's been great. Yeah.
You are so wrong on that. But in my opinion, but I mean, you're right. Can you think of another character casting that tops James Bond or Batman? I can't think of one.
No, but it's going to be Iron Man, depending on how the next one shapes out.
Superman's a big one.
Yeah, Superman is a huge one.
Well, that's another one that they blew every time since.
Well, there was also like the Curse of Superman for a little bit there. So,
yeah.
Well, it's like on the TV level, I'd probably say Doctor Who gets a lot of criticism.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree with Steve, though. I don't think there's anything bigger. That and even the Bond girls. I mean, it's so big that everyone's like, who's the next Bond girl? Or who's doing the Bond music? Like, what's the new Bond song? Because Skyfall, phenomenal song, by the way. Yep. There's always those are the things, like who's doing that? Who's playing the Bond girl? Like, those are always like the big.
And this has been going on for decades.
Yeah.
21 films over 60 years.
100%. I mean, it's even been popular video games. You know, like that's what Bond has spawned. I mean, lately, I guess they've been blowing it, which is very unfortunate because it shouldn't be hard to make a good Bond game. Like, he's perfect for a video game.
And what are we doing? Like, it's so easy. You take GoldenEye and just do it with new graphics. That's it. Just don't. Yeah, you don't need to do anything. So right. Like, what are you wasting for?
Reinvent it. Just make it now. Make it today.
Yeah, we need to stop reinventing the wheel with video games. Just get better graphics and maybe add a little more content, and that's it. That's it. You don't need to do this crazy thing.
Yep, 100%. Gosh, we need
James Bond's such a good video game. Maybe this will just be our James Bond episode. Just start it. Oh,
that's sad. No,
I'm just kidding. No.
I want to have more positive things because I love James Bond.
And you're gonna have to dress up, I think. Yeah, I think we should. Can we all get suits for the episode? Wear a little
suits. Yeah, and we'll drink vodka martinis. I'll mix them up, shake it.
I'll buy Walter PPKs.
Yeah. Yep. There you go.
I'll drive my Aston Martin. By the way, in this movie, he is in
Hot Wheels Aston Martin.
There you go.
In this film, he's in at least 9 different countries doing different things, like he always is, which is why Bond movies are so expensive to make. And in each one, he has a different Aston Martin. I don't know how you write that in there. It's a 1973 Volante, then it's a DB7, and then it's this. But in each location, it's a different Aston Martin. You can tell that they really wanted to end this checking off all of the boxes.
Well,
did we get Moneypenny? Did we do this?
I read this article about it. They went to, I guess it was Aston Martin, was the car company, right? And they wanted to make sure they had the exact car that he used in, I believe it was Goldfinger, if I'm not mistaken. And they're like, we want 9. And they're like, okay. And like, this car is worth stupid money. I don't even want to say it just because I'm going to be wrong. But this request was just absolutely ridiculous. The company was able to procure like 2. And I think like they might have like rented them from people, and the rest were just like shell remakes for scenes where the thing pops out of the or it pops out of the like headlights or taillights or like the special effects. But they wanted 9 and they got 2 and then had to like make like fake ones of the rest. You know, like that's how.
You would think they would just make fake ones in the first place. You know what I mean? Like it's almost cheaper. Like you're probably gonna crash it right at some point. Wouldn't you just do that? I mean, it's not. Are people really gonna realize that? Oh, that's not a real one. Like, come on.
Just put it on the chassis for a Volkswagen Bug, and you're gonna be fine. I mean, that's what they did in The Rock with the Ferrari and the Hummer. That's not a real Ferrari and Hummer driving down. That's a freaking Jetta. That's literally a Volkswagen Jetta driving around with the shape of a yellow Ferrari, Ferrari, whatever. So, I mean, I don't know why you can't do that, Lance. I completely agree. I do kind of like that they are going legit with it and they really wanted the real ones, but I don't know. That's what the same thing with Ecto 1. So Ecto 1 is not even really a car. It's 3 different cars put together. So when they remade this new one, Afterlife, which comes out in 38 days, by the way, they had to
Counting.
scrap together the parts from the original ones and then try to build a shell that matched it. So I don't know. You're right. I don't know why it's hard to do that, but it is. So
It's come on, we're the human race. We've done all these incredible things. Like, I feel like we can figure out that was just their like lazy answer. Like, can we just get 9 of these so we don't have to like think about?
Yeah, but
getting more?
like
we'll pay for it.
How expensive are these cars that you can't just have
Like
someone
millions.
just design
Millions.
a 3D print, you know, like an Aston
this
Martin?
is exactly that. I don't understand why you can't do it, but you know what? It is what it is. But the funniest part was that there was a different one in each country. I'm like, where is he renting these? Like, does MI6 just ship over a different one to wherever he's going? And half the time, they don't even know where the hell he is. How does he track down a different vintage Aston Martin in every country that he's in? It was just funny to me. I enjoyed seeing all the cars because they're beautiful, but I'm like, where the hell did he get this from? He's in a secret town in Chile, and they're like, cool, we have one rental car at Hertz. It's an Aston Martin. Great. Put it on my corporate account. I don't understand it.
Real undercover, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, there's an Aston Martin.
The opening scene. Also, this is weird, Blade. You guys are Bond fans. This is by a landslide the longest opening scene I've ever seen because they put in the prequel aspect. Rami Malek's character, his history is in the prequel, is in the opening scene before the even opening chase. I think it's around 20, maybe 15 minutes before you get to the credits, which is, if you know Bond movies, 4 times longer than the longest one. It's insane. It's really, really weird because you're like, when is the Bondy part start? Okay. So I don't know. It's really weird. And then when it comes to the end, it didn't really feel like it meant anything. I don't know. I just thought the Rami Malek character was kind of dumb.
So, and I just quick correction. I just pulled up the article. They asked for 10, not 9. So I was wrong for it. And these cars are about 1 to 2 million pounds a pop. So,
oh my gosh.
I'm sure for that price, they could have figured out how to make a fake one
Seriously.
For the sake of it.
Do you think that they wanted one to give to him as a parting gift? I'm dead serious.
They just said they, like, according to the article, like, they just, like, wanted it in the movie and, like, yeah, we're going to need 10 for shooting. So, like, I feel like there's just, like, the easy way, like, hey, can we have 10? We just rent them real quick for a couple months. You know, like, I think they were just going for, like, the easiest answer first as opposed to the logical answer first.
If they could rebuild Ecto 1 for Afterlife, they could have done what Lance said. Just 3D print the shell of one.
The DB5.
Like, just do it. I don't understand the hold up. No one cares. And if they do, then I don't know. Maybe they're way more hardcore fans than me, but I've seen every single Bond film at least 10 times, and I've never noticed the difference between, the chassis doesn't look like a vintage 67 DB5.
Well, I don't modified it, right? So.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, I mean, it shoots bullets and missiles. Like, what are we complaining about?
Ejector seats.
Yeah.
They don't all go underwater.
Yeah, that might be the reason. All right. Anything else before we wrap this up? All right. Very, very exciting. Very exciting. Nobody has anything else.
I feel like as soon as I came on, I shifted the gear to everything negative. Now I don't want to go see Carnage. And now you guys are going to go see Bond. I don't know. What the hell else do we have?
Well, I'll go see it. Maybe I'll just walk out 5 minutes before it ends.
You want to go see James Bond? I mean, if an ending's an ending, whether we like it or not. I mean, it's interesting how many movies get tied up after such a long frame period of time. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't even think Star Wars tied up after 9 movies. It's just now Rey's starting something new again. And it's if this is a full circle James Bond story, that's something that's very rarely done in such a major franchise like this.
If they did want to continue on and make the 007 franchise continue or make this series on Amazon, you do have all the pieces in place. The girl that came in on this one that took over the 007 role, she's actually fantastic. Ray Fiennes is still a good M to me. Blade, you liked him as M, right? You said that Ray Fiennes was great.
He was great. Like I don't know. Like it seemed to work so well with the Sean Connery movies. It was like I don't know, the look, like the way he was. Like I don't know. Like
maybe they just set it up to Yeah, so did I. Maybe because all the pieces are there. It's just the only piece that's not there anymore is James Bond. So if you're going to continue it as 007, they could keep on going this direction. And it's all the pieces are there to keep going. I just thought it was weird.
You know, it's also like, how many Marvel movies did they do till the snap? Was it like 21 or
21?
Weird.
So that's weird. So maybe that's what they were. They were like,
God.
you know, 21. Then Marvel kind of fell off, and they're terrible now. So maybe that's what they're thinking. You know, 21's the number, lucky number 21, and then that's it.
You just blew my mind.
Blackjack too, and James Bond always played.
What is happening
maybe
here?
It was always meant to be 21, and it's he walked away with the winning hand.
And 21 with Kevin Spacey was a good movie. Or Blackjack? What was it? What was it? What was it? 21, right?
It was called 21. I think it was called 21. Where he's teaching old people how to hustle in Vegas with playing
the counting cards. Yeah, that was a great movie. And Kevin Spacey's a great actor, but too bad he's a garbage human being.
Yeah.
On that note, that episode, I guess it was about stuff, but also about nothing. We had no plans there, but you know, what did you guys think of Venom and Carnage? What did you think of the new James Bond movie? If you saw either of those, you know, let us know on Facebook. We are Nightcap Chat on Facebook. All one word if you're doing the @ thing. Nightcap is one word and chat's a separate word. By the way, if you're ever looking us up on anything, I think people get that wrong all the time. And that's my fault because it's over 120 episodes here and I have never once pointed that out. Yeah, it's Nightcap. Nightcap is one word. And honestly, I had to Google that too. I was like, because a nightcap's a thing. Is nightcap one word? Like I had to look that up myself. Yeah, nightcap is one word. So fun fact. And
you just blew my mind because I haven't gotten one new follower since I started Tales of Steve. And I think it's because I'm not explaining it correctly. That's right. That's got to be what it is.
So we'll have to make sure we do Tales of Steve correctly. And we're at Nightcap_chat on Instagram. Ken?
Yeah, guys, thanks again for another awesome episode. Steve, dude, see, the Red Sox came through. Cheers.
Ken, I'm going to start texting you every game now, no matter what. You're like over the top positivity. Maybe put us through. That sack fly was all because of you.
Well, I really do hope that you got my Cheers reference there too, right?
I didn't hear what you just said, honestly.
You
said something about
the Red Sox. Cheers. Isn't Cheers in
now
Boston?
I get it. Yes, it is in Boston. Sorry. That was, I thought, I did hear you.
Bad
but
joke,
I
bad
missed
pun,
another
you
joke.
know.
Oh, no, there's not a bad one. I just didn't miss it. It went over my head.
Get it?
Everybody knows your name.
Yes, that was my favorite TV show as a kid. Like comedy-wise, at least.
Yeah.
Was Cheers.
Nothing wrong with Cheers.
Sam Malone was one of my idols growing up for some reason. Overcome anything, Mr. Sam Malone. But so you can catch Ken at Drawn to Comics in downtown Glendale, Arizona, the Cheers of comic shops in the Valley of Arizona, I like to think of us as.
No kidding.
And on also Drawn to Comics on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And thanks to you guys for listening once again. And keep on reading those comics and keep on watching those movies and keep on listening to awesome music and keep on watching James Bond and keep on loving life, you guys. Thank you for listening.
And you can catch me on Twitch and not Twitter because, you know, screw Twitter, but don't even follow me. If you're following me on Twitter, unfollow me now because I hate Twitter. And Instagram at Tales of Lance, and Tales is TALES, not TILS. You know, just so, and it's also like for Steve, TALES, Tales of Steve. Just in case we don't have Tales, we're not into Tales or anything like that. It's just more of like a Tales of Suspense joke for, you know, it's okay for those of you who didn't understand and you're like typing in Tales and think I'm like a Sonic character or something, which I'm not. Just throwing that out there. I might, who knows? You know, I have my hair slicked back like a hedgehog, I guess. Anyway, Steve.
I'm Steve. Thanks for letting me join in. And I bring nothing to the table.
Gosh, I feel like it's only been like 2 weeks and I feel like I haven't done this in forever for some reason. And by the way, last week I was able to procure Lance's Charizard card for both me and Lance. So I know you guys were all losing sleep over that, but I was able to find those.
Wait, did I miss the beginning of the show? Did you not do the other big revelation that freaking Lance got his Bluey?
Oh no, I didn't. I did not bring
Yeah.
that up.
Are you
Lance,
kidding me?
Lance got his.
That was on my list. I was like
Oh.
looking for that now.
Yep. See, and there's the giant
So he
version
got
of it.
that.
Lance's Charizard.
Wow.
I got one too, so don't worry. I got one.
Did you get a Bluey though?
I
Did you
did
get a
not
Bluey?
get a Bluey. I did not get a Bluey. I do. Not
I got the Bluey, guys. Oh, I forgot. I got the Bluey. Guys,
He
it's
took his
all over.
headphones off just now. That's
Sorry.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just said that. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I was like,
Oh
laser
my
focused
gosh.
on finding that Bluey for you.
Did you see how happy she was? I know I sent you
Yeah, I
guys.
did.
She
That
was
was
so
amazing.
happy. Oh my god.
It was awesome.
And maybe we'll include the picture of the Bluey in the description. We appreciate you all taking the time to listen. We love you. Be safe, and we'll catch you all next week.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good week.
Giggity.